Good evening, or good morning, because it's almost 1 o'clock where I'm at. Today I'm going to try and demonstrate for you how to take a basketball and make it go in that hoop. So all you really need for this, your supplies, is going to be a basketball and a hoop, and if it's this time of year, probably some warm clothing. But you can probably go to a park and find a basketball hoop, and sometimes if you're even lucky, you can find a basketball. So there's not a lot of supplies that you need, and the main things that you're going to be using are your arms, your back, your legs, and your feet. So it's a whole body shot, and that's most of what your supplies are going to be. So shooting the basketball for me is something I started to learn in like 5th grade, and it's never going to be something I master. It's never going to be something most people master. There are a few guys that are the best at shooting, but it's one of those things that you're not going to make 100% of the time. So you got guys like Steph Curry and Ray Allen and Reggie Miller who can shoot the ball from way outside, and you got guys that are like in the paint and they're still shooting the ball. That still counts as a shot. That's going to be your DeAndre Jordans, your Dwight Howards, and your Shaqs of the world. Those are just professionals though, of course. So what you're going to want to use is your whole body to shoot, like I mentioned. So you're going to start with your feet. Make sure you got good position. You're going to want your toes. Okay, say you're facing the basket. That's going to be 12 o'clock on a clock, right? You're going to want your feet pointed at about 11 o'clock if you're right-handed, and about 1 o'clock if you're left-handed. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to go at 11 o'clock. So another thing you can do with your feet that's recommended is you have your heels up off the ground just a little bit. Not that much, just a little bit. Just so it acts as like a springboard for you to get a lot more tension out of your feet when you're shooting. So you're gonna go out of your feet, you're gonna have your back kind of like this, you're gonna have your butt over your feet. That's gonna be your balance. You're shooting up your power through your legs, into your butt, making sure your back is straight, going through your arms. So it's gonna go through your legs. You wanna make sure your back is nice and strong, nice and not stiff, but not weak either. You don't want to be falling over. So then you get up into your arms. This is the main part of your shot. You're going to want to have your arm like a column, like it's holding up a building. You're going to want that straight up and down. Straight up and down. Then you're going to go into your shoulders. You're going to want to make sure they're not square, but they're also going to be about 11 o'clock if you're right-handed, or 1 o'clock if you're left-handed. The most important thing is your wrist and your hands. Well, your hand and your fingers on that hand. There's a lot of little steps that you can put into your shot. Something I've been practicing for a long time, and it's still something I gotta go back to the basics every single day. So you got your ball, you got your arm like a column. You're gonna want to have a little space right under the ball where your hand touches. So your hand's not gonna be touching, but your fingers are gonna be holding the ball. And then you're gonna go through your legs, up, and then you're gonna flick your wrist at the top. You're gonna wanna make sure your arm is locked. And you don't wanna shoot too flat, and you don't wanna shoot too high. You wanna find a spot that's kind of nice in the middle. Now, you're also gonna be using your left hand, or your non-dominant hand when you're shooting the ball. So, you're gonna have it on the side like this. It's good to have your hand straight up and down as a guide hand, just so it keeps your body going straight up and down when you shoot, because that's very important. You don't want to be way forward or falling way back when you shoot, because that's how you know you're off balance. So it's going to be like this. Then you're going to have your guide hand and make sure your fingers are spread out. That's very important. That way you're covering enough area. I also like to choose a guide finger. That's going to be what I'm shooting through. If you think about physics, you got rays that shoot out of things. I like to think about that a lot in basketball. Where are my feet pointing? Where are my fingers pointing? Where's my hand finishing? You're going to want to make sure you're looking at the back of the rim. So once you throw all those steps together, and probably way more that I haven't mentioned, because as I said, it's not an exact science. There's definitely room for error, room for improvement for everybody. So I'll kind of go like this, so I'm straight on so you can kind of see. So I got my heels up, going through my back, through my arms, and I'm gonna finish just like that. Now shooting's a lot easier the closer you are, obviously, because you're gonna have a lot less room for error, a lot less room for give, or rather, you're having more room for error, my mistake. So when you shoot further, when you got you guys, not like your Shaqs that are close to the hoop, they got more room for error. You guys that don't have as much room for error are your shooters that are shooting 3-pointers. That's tougher to do. And I'm gonna try and show you. Obviously I can't show the hoop because my phone's vertical right now. But I'll try and make sure I'm in the shot so you can at least see my form. So I'll go from about here. About here. So this is about a free throw. And I promise I did make that, actually. I had to do a retake on the whole speech because I missed this part. So in conclusion, shooting a basketball is one of those things that can be as difficult or as easy as you make it. It's really easy to start, and it's really difficult to master. It's like any good, game, any good thing you want to train at. So there are a lot of important things, but there are a lot of important steps to remember, rather, but the most important ones are remember to have fun.